on that phrase. That's a slogan that he's adopted for the Indiana Borough Police Chief Force, and it works, doesn't it?
It does. I think over time, we've kind of collectively focused very heavily on community policing, and I think that catchphrase is kind of just, I guess, shows exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it caught on.
It did.
And it resonates with members of the police force, because that's what you're after. If you were to say, what are your goals as a police officer, that would be a nice capsulization.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, peace, comfort, safety, Indiana Borough Police, that's what it's all about. So let's talk about recruiting officers, because you've got some openings. You'd love to have some folks come on board.
So we're currently at 21 officers. That's our limit. We're testing as per the civil service test. We need to have a list of officers in the event we have an opening. We haven't tested in the past 2 years. We kind of kept the same list, but now that list is going to expire. So we are currently testing to have a new list with generated names. So this recruiting position's been brand new. We've never done it before. I'm the guinea pig, and hopefully I'm going to give a good example for future recruiters to come. But we went to different schools, not just IUP. We went to Slippery Rock. We went to State College. We went to St. Vincent. We kind of reached out everywhere, because we're not looking just for here in this hometown. We want to bring people from out of this town to want to be their hometown. They want to make this their home.
Yeah, and so you'd love to have them come on board and join you in the Indiana Borough Police Force. So when you talk about what it takes to become a police officer in Indiana Borough, I'm assuming it's not all that different from other boroughs. You have the same goals, the safety of the people around you. Well, there it is on the slogan again. Peace, safety, comfort. What does it take to be an Indiana Borough Police officer?
What it takes is, and it's something I can tell you a quick story, is a high character, very characteristic based person. I truly never wanted to be a police officer. I didn't have that in my grand scheme of things. I worked at SCG Hobby, the local gaming store here in town, when I was going to college, and Chief Shaw used to come visit me with his son, and they'd buy sports cards almost once a week, and we would have small talk. And one day he asked me, "What are you doing with your life?" And I had no idea. I didn't know. I served in the military. I did years with that, and he kind of pushed me and said, "Why don't you try to be a police officer?" And I did. Somehow I excelled. I scored top of the list, and I got hired, and I've been there for going on 6 years now. And that's kind of the story I tell to everyone when I'm recruiting, is we're not looking just for the people that want to go to the police academy or that are just studying criminology. We want someone who wants to better themselves and better the community they live in. And that's kind of like opening up all kinds of different avenues for us.
Some children will have an idea very young in life that they want to be a police officer, and so they sort of steep themselves as they're growing up in that whole lore, and they have an idea. I'm sure it's nowhere near what the reality is of what it is to be a police officer. When you come in with no aspirations, no lifelong aspirations to be a police officer, and suddenly you find yourself training to be one, I'm sure your list of expectations is different from somebody else's, but what was your list of expectations, and how close were what you were anticipating it to be like to what it really is? So
I guess the only thing I really had in mind is I was going to be taking care of the same people that lived in this town that I called home. I live on the outskirts of Indiana now, just for marriage purposes, but I still consider this my hometown. It was something I wanted to do to better myself while I'm helping others, and just seeing the gratification from those that you help, or the feeling of it you get yourself when you help somebody, that's been enough to kind of push me and motivate me every shift. And I can speak for the other men and women that I work with. That's there's definitely hard days. Just like every other profession, there's hard days, but there's also good days.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you focus on those good days and you look back and see the changes and the people you help, it's something that kind of blows your expectations out of the water. It's definitely a beast of the unknown for those that aren't planning to be a police officer, but once you start to excel at your own speed, it's something that you can learn to love.
Your entire police career has been spent with Indiana Borough.
It has.
Yeah. I'm sure that you talk with police officers from other departments. What's the difference in Indiana Borough? Why is Indiana Borough's police force special to you?
So it's special to me. This town is widely community oriented, and I guess what I mean by that is we have so many resources surrounding us that are aiding us. We have a Citizens Ambulance, we have the Pennsylvania State Police, we have IUP Campus Police. We all work together almost like a well-oiled machine. And then we have all the small businesses in town that reach out to us that want to do community programs, especially when we do National Night Out or events like that. We never have a lack of anyone who want to aid or assist us. And I think the big thing with policing in today's climate is it's huge that we have that backing from our community.
Yeah, it really is. And working with emergency services, people in that line of work as volunteers, firefighters included, they have that community service mindset, don't they?
They do, exactly.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to get their name on the list and begin to explore the possibilities of being a police officer in Indiana Borough, this QR code on this poker chip is one way to do that. But what are some of the things that they could do?
So other things, I guess I got to put it out there. So May 13th is going to be our deadline to receive applications, and then May 18th we do a civil service test that entails a physical fitness test followed by a written exam. But they can come into our station. I have hard copies that I can help them fill out. Visiting our website itself, just on www.indianaborough.com. They can fill it out themselves, and it'll actually be submitted to my email where I can submit it physically for them after they complete it. But those are the ways we have currently to submit your application.
So the 13th is a week from today.
Yes.
And then you said the 18th?
So the 18th will be when we do our civil service test.
Which is, let me see, 13th.
This Saturday. It's the
This
Armed
Saturday,
Forces
yeah.
Day.
Yeah, so that's when the physical test actually takes place.
Yes, sir.
And it sounds like it's a real opportunity for somebody to explore and becoming a police officer. Who are you looking for? Somebody who is a police officer, somebody who's been going to school for police officer training, somebody fresh off the street with no experience at all. Who would you like to apply?
Like I said, at this point, I don't have a preference because I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and they both have fit well within our police department. I've seen guys that wanted to be a police officer their entire life that are currently working for us, and they do great. I also see other officers like myself that never planned on being a police officer, and then they tried it, and they've been there for years. So anyone who wants to make a difference in the community that has high character and has the drive to help themselves while helping others, I think that's the broad sense of it. We're welcoming to anybody that wants to make a difference in Indiana.
Yeah, well, and that make a difference in Indiana is a true statement.
Yep.
I'm sure. Final question. Is it everything that you thought it would be, being a police officer?
For me, no. Just because I didn't have any set expectations. It's been, I've made a lot of lifelong friends, and that was a big thing. I was very worried that being a police officer today's day and age was going to take some hardships on me, and not being liked by somebody is something I wasn't accustomed to. But I've made tons of friends that I would consider family within the police department and outside of the department. So I've been grateful for that.
Zach, thanks for the visit.
Thank you for letting me come.
We appreciate it. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160. And you're You're like a pro.
Kirsty really kicks into gear when the team returns home
Thank you so much. You did great.
for the huge education day.
My pleasure.
Of course. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
If you need anything else from us, just holler. Like I said, hopefully someone else, not me, can come talk to you a year from now that want to be your old recruiter. So we can see. That'd be great.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Good. I brought some goodies.
Ooh, I won. I got one. I got out of a sales meeting to come down and see you. You should, I know.
I appreciate
I'm pretty
it.
excited about it.
Appreciate it.
I was like, ooh, I want to go down and catch him. So, how you do? You do okay? Where's Chief?
Get your tickets today by
I think he's gonna come whenever he's scheduled.
Okay.
He just wanted to toss me the
He
dogs.
just wanted you to do it all on your own. You're solo.
He
Okay.
was worried I was gonna mess up. So how you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad you did well. So that'll be on Facebook and then, yeah, ads running and then